the thing Conor does, where he is actually trying to weaken his opponent, that is the full spectrum art of war. That he is the game that he's playing in, which is why I didn't want to say it while it's going on. I fucking hate Nice Conor. I can't stand it. I can't fucking stand it. And the reason why is because you're taking one of like the part of the game that I love, which is the mind games, weakening your opponent. That's how I see it. I don't see it as like someone's talking shit. I see it as a person psychologically making their opponent weaker before they fight. And that's the shit I see, and I know exactly what people are doing when they're playing the game like that, right? There are people who just make noise. They're just trying to get people to watch. Then there are the people that are like Conor. They're very rare, who are genuinely, strategically trying to weaken their opponent, okay? And when Conor, who is the ultimate apex predator in that game, is not playing, he's not playing the game, I don't like it. See, because like in the Cowboy fight, this is my opinion, I will stick to it. In the Cowboy fight, I think part of the reason he was being nice is because he knew that's the way to weaken his opponent. Cowboy, if you get him mad, okay, like Cowboy's a much better fighter if he doesn't like his opponent. I could do an entire video about that. I don't think anyone would watch it, otherwise I would make it. But when Cowboy's mad, he's a much better fighter. When he likes the guy he's fighting, he doesn't fight as well. That's just a fact. And I think Conor, if I can recognize it, the Apex Predator can recognize it also. I think he was softening him up all through the build-up. Hey, I like that hat, brother. I think he's also building his brand, but I'll never sway from the fact that I believe he was playing a psychological game with him. With Dustin, I don't think he was. I think that he thought for sure, no matter what, that Conor on his worst day could beat Dustin on his best day and that he didn't even need to play. I think for the first time in his entire career, he was in a place where he was so comfortable. He had so much money, and like he almost felt bad. Like he literally, I've done videos on this where he like literally almost felt bad. He's like, dude, I'm gonna beat this guy so easily. Why would I do this to him? Like why would I tear his dreams apart right before I knock him out? Like why would I do that to him? He got soft. All right, Jesse on Fire, welcome back to the channel. So anybody who has been paying attention to Conor and Dustin's Twitter got to have known that this video was coming because, man, I love when Conor gives me ammo to make videos. And this one, I am very happy to tell you, I've been on fire lately, man. I've had great video topics. I get so bored. Like, I don't like doing videos unless there's a good topic. And there have been great topics lately. If anybody's been watching all my videos recently, I feel good about all of them, and it's because I was excited to do the videos. If I just kind of am like, man, I haven't put out a video in a day or two, I should probably do a video, they're never going to be as good, okay? These ones where I'm like, this is a topic I can talk about, son. This is something I have something to say. And as it relates to Conor and Dustin, I have a lot to say here, right? So if you like the content, subscribe and ring the bell. I'm going to break this thing down, and I encourage you guys to listen closely because this is I have insights here. So anyway, so what happened, right? So you saw this Twitter exchange between Dustin and Conor. Almost everyone's seen it now, right? Dustin called out Conor and said directly, like, yeah, you never paid that $500,000. You committed $500,000 to the charity, you never paid. And Conor basically responded and was like, yeah, well, I never got a plan from you guys. You guys never sent over a plan. What are you doing with the money? Like, what do you, and basically called him out. He's like, what are you, new to money? Are you new to having money? I mean, it's pretty ridiculous given that Conor's had money for like 5 years, 6 years. Okay, that is new money, but whatever. I mean, you get used to having money and you kind of learn how business works in 6, 7 years. I'm not saying that this is a legitimate excuse for the record, but yeah, what are you, new to money? I never got a plan. What are you doing with the money? I mean, Dustin basically said exactly what they were doing is they were setting up gyms. It's neither here nor there though, but that's what Conor said. He's like, you never sent over he's like, you think I was just going to send it over? Like, whatever, you're hillbilly. And then he did another one that basically just was like, I'm never sending you that money, hillbilly. And I probably should just read it to you guys, given that it's possible that some of you guys haven't seen it. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. I will read you guys the exact tweets from. Okay, so basically, Dustin Poirier said 100%. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Conor said a donation. Oh wait. Oh okay, sorry. Never mind. God damn it. He was replying to Dustin. I don't know what you also predicted a donation to my foundation, and you and your team stopped responding after the fight in January. See you soon, July 10th, paid in full. So he called out Conor for not paying. Conor responds, a donation, not a debt. We've been awaiting the plans for the money that never came. I do with all my donations. Know where it's going, dot for dot. Otherwise, it goes walking, as in the case with a lot of these foundations, sadly. You took the McG over the belt. Shows I was right. I don't really know exactly what that means. And then Dustin Poirier responded, 100% never a debt. You offered, we accepted. And like I said, your team never responded to our emails regarding the process of where funds would be put to work. July 10th, you will taste defeat again. And Conor responded to that with, oh, come on. God damn it. Am I really going to have to actually edit this video? I'm not. You guys are just going to have to sit and wait while I look. So then he goes, Conor responds, you're ripped, you inbred hillbilly. Why do you wink with your ears, you fucking brain-dead hillbilly? 500K with no plan in place? Yeah, hang tight, fool. You must be new to money. The fight is off, by the way. I'm going to fight someone else on the 10th. Good luck with your old contract, kid. Okay, so that's the exchange, right? So I guess there are a few things that we could take away. Number one, Conor never sent the money. Number two, old Conor's back. And number three, Conor is not actually canceling the fight with Dustin Poirier. Okay, I already saw a video like come out. It was like Conor pulls out of the fight with Dustin. It's so funny how people do that. Like when Kamaru Usman, I'm not feeling generous anymore. Oh my God, the fight with Masvidal's off. It's like, dude, are you like? You guys can't like just read a little bit between the lines. What Kamaru Usman is saying is he's being charitable, giving Jorge Masvidal the shot to fight him. Okay, it's a dig at him. He's not saying they're not actually going to fight. Did I make a video about that 1 second later? I was like, you guys, they're still going to fight. And then are they fighting? This is definitely 100% not Conor pulling out of the fight. The point Conor was making, he's like, yeah, I'm just going to fight someone else. He's like, hey, let's see how much money you make on this. The point he's making is, you're going to make how much money to fight me? And what happens if I pull out? Hey, I'm going to fight someone else. How much money? Hey, good luck with your old contract. You understand? That's why he said good luck with your old contract. He's digging at him he's letting him know it's red panty night, dude. So show some fucking respect. The amount of money you're going to make on this fight is strictly because you're fighting me. Otherwise, you can go fight Dan Hooker again. What'd you make for that fight? Something like 20 times less than you're going to make for this fight. So, maybe show a little respect. That's the point that Conor's making. But that's not what's really going on also. That is what he's saying, but that's not the overarching thing that's going on. And I'll tell you exactly what that is, because this is very interesting. I knew this was going to happen. I knew it the second that I saw this interview. Okay, so how many of you guys watched Dustin Poirier on the Joe Rogan podcast? I did. I told you guys, I became a big fan of Dustin Poirier. Simultaneously, I was thinking to myself through one section of the interview, I was like, what the fuck is he doing? What the fuck is he doing? Okay, and I'll tell you exactly what I mean. He was talking about what it was like to fight Conor the first time versus the second time. And this was the only time that I'd heard him talk about this after the second fight. And basically, you have to understand who you're up against, right? Like, you're fighting him again, right? Like, you fought him once. Okay, think about this, right? You fought Conor once. He was really mean, very aggressive, really got in your head and was nasty, and you didn't like it, and then he knocked you out. Second time, he was very nice, very respectful, incredibly respectful, almost like weird respectful. And then you won, right? Now, do you think that Conor can't do that mathematics? Like that's, yeah, Conor fought different and Dustin's a better fighter and it's at 155, but you think that Conor's not going to factor in the fact that, when I was nice, he fought better and beat me. When I was mean, I beat him. Now, Conor is, clearly like trying to present a reformed front due to a lot of scandals that were hurting his brand. But number one, okay, let me just also lay this out. Conor's out of Proper 12 now. He sold Proper 12. You guys understand that, right? Like, if you guys think that doesn't matter, like, Conor's out of Proper 12. Okay, let me explain what that actually means. So when he punched the old man in the head and then he went on Ariel Helwani and all that stuff, you understand, part of it was because he's taking shit online. But most of it is because people stopped buying his Proper 12, right? Like, people stopped buying it. He had the world by the balls. He's just printing money. And then all of a sudden, whiskey sales down the drain. And he's like, oh my God, did I just implode my whole empire? That's at least part of it. I know he didn't like the negative feedback and all that stuff, but especially as it impacted his business. So he reforms himself. He gets all night. He fights Cowboy. He wins by knockout. He's super nice. And boom, his brand explodes again. And so in Conor's mind, he's a human being too. He's operating off of incentives. Oh, they like me when I'm nice. They like it when I'm nice. I'm being nice. I'm making money. Proper 12 is going dirt. Then he goes and he fights Dustin. He has the same recipe. He gets knocked out. Simultaneously, like inside of a month, someone buys him out from Proper 12. That brand is off of his back now, right? He's cashed out of that. So he does not have to concern himself about that brand anymore, which was his main cash cow of his other businesses. It's gone. He cashed out, right? That is a non-factor now. And simultaneously, the guy that he was nice to in the second fight beat him the second time. So now he has free reign to be mean. He has free reign to be mean because why not, right? And that's what worked the first time. So that doesn't mean he's going to be mean, but that's the situation. He has much more incentive to be mean and much less reason not to, right? And then Dustin Poirier went on Joe Rogan. And when I watched that interview, I was like, God damn, this dude, it's one thing to not participate in mental warfare. It's another thing to just ignore that the game exists, right? Because Dustin Poirier is a guy who doesn't play, right? Like normally he's just like, you cannot play, but you can't stop your opponent from playing, right? Like you can only be like, I'm not a guy who does that. Like I don't do it. It's not something I do. I do my fighting in the octagon. I'm not really much of a talker. Generally, as a matter of fact, generally, it's people who aren't good at it, who don't do it, right? And there's no knock against them. I obviously am exceptional at that. But all these guys would beat the shit out of me. So, it's one thing, it's irrelevant. I'm just saying, if I were an elite fighter, there's no question which side of the fence I would be on. I would be mind fucking the shit out of these donkeys, period. I just would, because this shit comes very naturally to me, like it does to Conor. Guys that it doesn't come naturally to, of course, they're like, I don't want to play that game, right? Now, the guys who look down on it, that I don't really understand, Like, if you don't, like, that just shows me they don't understand the game they're in, right? Like, you're competing against these guys at all times, right? And when you fight in the octagon, this is my main reason why I don't respect the viewpoint of people who actually look down on people who play mental warfare. This is the thing. The 15 or 25 minutes that you're in the octagon, or the 30 seconds that you're in the octagon, whatever, the fight itself, what is that? Like, what does that represent? What is it? You think that that's the result? Like, the outcome of that event is the result of those 10 minutes? Of course not. Like, the outcome of that event is what you did outside of those 10 minutes. How much did you prepare? How much did you set yourself up to be in a position to win, right? And if you have the opportunity to not only make yourself better by training, but make your opponent weaker by mind fucking him, that's the art of war. That is the fucking game you're playing. If you can't get that, you don't understand the sport you're in, okay? Like, I don't give a fuck. I'm not a professional fighter. And if you tell me that I don't understand this sport and that somebody who's in the UFC understands it better than me, no, they don't, okay? No, they don't. And if you have any real fighter, watch the clip that you just watched, where I just laid it out. You think the outcome of the octagon is the result of those 10 minutes versus the previous 3 to 5 months or the previous 20 years of preparation, then you don't understand the sport, okay? So yeah, you can train all day long and make yourself as good as possible, prepare as much as possible. Everybody respects that, right? That's as much, you respect that. I mean, the harder a person works, the more you respect them. But then a person who also uses strategy to weaken their opponent in advance, that's a person you look down on? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Ever. And sometimes I make points in videos where I realize I'm like, man, this is something everyone should see. This is one of those points, okay? So like, if you look down on people who play mind games, you don't understand the sport. I'm not talking about people like, well, I mean, the other part of the sport is bringing eyeballs. So if you're just kind of obnoxious, but it makes people watch, that whatever. But the thing I'm talking about with Conor, right? The thing Conor does, where he is actually trying to weaken his opponent, that is the full spectrum art of war that is the game that he's playing in, which is why I didn't want to say it while it's going on. I fucking hate Nice Conor. I can't stand it. I can't fucking stand it. And the reason why is because you're taking one of, like, the part of the game that I love, which is the mind games, weakening your opponent. That's how I see it. I don't see it as like someone's talking shit. I see it as a person psychologically making their opponent weaker before they fight. And that's the shit I see, and I know exactly what people are doing when they're playing the game like that, right? There are people who just make noise. They're just trying to get people to watch. Then there are the people that are like Conor. They're very rare, who are genuinely strategically trying to weaken their opponent, okay? And when Conor, who is the ultimate apex predator in that game, is not playing, he's not playing the game, I don't like it. See, because like in the Cowboy fight, this is my opinion, I will stick to it. In the Cowboy fight, I think part of the reason he was being nice is because he knew that's the way to weaken his opponent. Cowboy, if you get him mad, okay, like Cowboy's a much better fighter if he doesn't like his opponent. I could do an entire video about that. I don't think anyone would watch it, otherwise I would make it. But when Cowboy's mad, he's a much better fighter. When he likes the guy he's fighting, he doesn't fight as well. That's just a fact. And I think Conor, if I can recognize it, the Apex Predator can recognize it also. I think he was softening him up all through the build-up. Hey, I like that hat, brother. I think he's also building his brand, but I'll never sway from the fact that I believe he was playing a psychological game with him. With Dustin, I don't think he was. I think that he thought for sure, no matter what, that Conor on his worst day could beat Dustin on his best day and that he didn't even need to play. I think for the first time in his entire career, he was in a place where he was so comfortable. He had so much money, and like he almost felt bad. Like he literally, I've done videos on this where he like literally almost felt bad. He's like, dude, I'm gonna beat this guy so easily. Why would I do this to him? Like why would I tear his dreams apart right before I knock him out? Like why would I do that to him? He got soft, and I hated it. I did not like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. And what did GSP say on this last this thing with Joe Rogan? He said the only time that he wasn't terrified before a fight was against Matt Serra, the one where he got knocked out. And Conor's lost fights before, but he lost them to understandable adversaries. This is the only time I've ever seen him not play the game. He wasn't playing. It's the only time he straight up did not play, and he lost. And what I'm saying is he's playing now. Now he's gonna play. He's gonna play, and he has no reason not to. And so, getting back to the original point that I was making about Dustin, right? When he did the Joe Rogan podcast and he talked about that environment that the second time, I don't know, Conor just didn't seem as big to me. Like he didn't seem that big. Like I'll admit, like I liked it a lot better. He wasn't talking all that. He was nice, so I could just relax and kind of get ready. And then when I went in there, I was loose, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Like, what are you doing? You think you're in the same situation now? Like you're gonna fight Conor again? You just knocked him out, man. Like, you think Conor's not watching this interview? You think that Conor's been the most ruthless fucking guy on earth for his entire life, and then for the last 12 months, 6 to 12 months, he got super nice, and then that's the person you faced, you knocked him out, and you think that that's the person you're gonna see now, or that for sure Conor's totally changed. Like, the circumstances are the same going into this third fight. Of course he's gonna be nice. You're like, dude, like I said, there's one thing where you're just a person who doesn't play. It's another thing to just ignore that the game exists, okay? Don't hand your opponent the way to weaken you on a silver platter on the biggest podcast ever, right? I just got to be real loose. He didn't try to play all those games. The first time he kind of got in my head and whatever, but it was much easier for me. I got to go in there loose. I was like, well, I can pretty much guarantee you what's coming now. I mean, not even pretty much. I can guarantee you what's coming out. I knew for sure this was coming. I knew for sure. I mean, I didn't, not about the donation. I actually had forgotten about that. But I knew the Conor that was coming back was going to be ruthless. I knew it. Because Conor hates, dude, you can desire whatever you want about, for yourself. I want to be a good guy now. Oh, yeah? Well, let's put that up against how much you like winning versus how much you like losing. Let's see that, right? You lost. Like, Conor got knocked out, okay? Like, you gotta also understand, a guy like Conor who fancies himself an elite striker who had never been dominated on his feet, ever, okay? Never. You go through his entire career, no one had beat him on his feet, ever, okay? Never. Unless he was exhausted from a staph infection against Nate Diaz in the first fight or whatever, right? Like, Khabib took him down and beat him there, right? Conor, in a stand-up mixed martial arts fight, Conor had never been beat. Dustin just beat him in a stand-up mixed martial arts fight, okay? You think Conor's just going to take that and you're going to get the same guy next time? There's no fucking way. He's coming for Dustin's fucking head this time. Guaranteed. And I love it. Not because I don't like Dustin Poirier. I just want to see the Apex Predator back in action. I want to see him mad. And it's not even about mad. It's strategy, okay? He's trying to weaken his opponent. That's it. That's what he's doing. He's trying to weaken his opponent. And Dustin gave him the fucking blueprint on the Joe Rogan podcast. He didn't have to validate it, dude. He should have just said, he should have kept quiet. He should have just said, I'm a different man now. There's no mind games. No mind games are going to fucking rattle me. It just doesn't matter. He could have said all that same shit, and the result would have been the same. I don't crack under pressure. That's what he should have said, right? But he said, well, he made it so easy for me, I got to just relax. Yeah, I got to avoid all that ugliness, that really distracted me last time. You're like, dude, what the fuck? What the fuck are you doing? Why would you say that? Why the fuck would you say that to the most ruthless psychological warrior ever? And now you're seeing it. You know, it's only, what is it, fucking April, May, June, July. You got a long time. Conor's gonna fucking whittle him down to a nub as it relates. He's gonna just run, and you can see Dustin Poirier's responses were not combative at all. Like, Dustin's not trying to get into this with him at all. Like, Dustin was just like, it wasn't a debt, man. You said you were gonna do it. You didn't pay. Like, you didn't pay. That's it. Oh, well, that's cool. I mean, you know, I mean, listen, if I'm running a charity and a guy commits $500,000 to me and then we chase him around, he doesn't fucking pay. Yeah, I'll put a tweet out there. I'll be like, well, you know, there's the thing about you being like a good person where you committed $500,000, then you just straight up never paid. But there's that. That's a totally different thing than being like, you know, I don't know. I don't know. But now the gloves are off. We get old Conor. So let's do this thing. But if you think that this fight is off, you're a fucking idiot. All right. Love you guys. Peace.